Before we hit the theme song, we have to talk about what just happened in St. Henry. 19 years ago, Josh Werling was a hometown wideout on St. Henry's last state title team in 2006. This year, that same kid walked back into Canton with a headset and coached his hometown team to another one. In just his second year as head coach, he goes 14-1, brings home state title number 7, and sorry, Marion Local fans, his guys are the ones that finally snapped that Flyer win streak. And when he's not doing that, he's your eye doctor, an optometrist at Mercer In-Sight in Celina, small business owner, husband, dad, and a man of faith, trying to lead well at home, at work, and on the field. So this episode isn't a football recap. It's about how you carry all of that in a town where everybody knows your name. Hello and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast, episode number 44. That's 4. To my left, Slick Willie and Josh Werling. Slick Willie, what up, dude?
Hey, how are you, buddy? Number 44. We could just stay with the Cincinnati Reds here on number 44. Eric Davis.
Okay, yes, I was going to say that.
Ellie. Aristides Aquino.
Oh.
Josh,
yes.
You got a 44
Yeah,
of
you got a number
any
44?
sports figure out there. It could be your JV running back, number 44.
I'm going to give Ross Niekamp a shout out at 44. Yeah, I love Ross.
Does he play for the Reds too?
The team's red. So Josh, thanks for coming on today. A pretty big trophy back there in the background. How was your weekend?
It was pretty great. Yeah, top shelf weekend in our community at the Werling house. So we're good, man. We're good. Thanks for having me.
Are you
Glad
still
to be
on the
here.
high afterward? I mean, I got to assume that this is a pretty adrenaline-pumped weekend. Are you still riding the high? Have you come down from it? I mean, how many days? I'm checking my watch here. How many days removed are we? Saturday to Bill, you're my math guy.
4 days from there?
4 whole days. You still riding the high? You still waking up in cold sweats? You still like,
cover 3,
go! Oh, shit!
I really just truly am enjoying every second of it. It's been a long time in our community, and you pour that time into it, and just again proud, elated, all the things you can describe it, and just going to enjoy it.
That's adorable. Bill, before we get into football talk, we'll get there. Hey, folks listening at home, tuning in here. I'm a Marion Local guy, so I don't really want to move forward with the football talk too quick because that usually ends in the end of the 76 win streak. But tell me about your weekend, Bill. What's up with you?
I didn't do anything all weekend. I sat there on Saturday. I watched you, rooted you guys on. I had a vesting interest in you for obvious reasons. One, you're my friend outside of this podcast. And two, I was really hoping to sell St. Henry a bunch of state championship shirts. As we did.
Normally I would say no free brand. Go ahead, make the plug. Let's hear it. Where do they get
this? This is my half. Go ahead and get your shirts at Albert Sporting Goods. A lot of competition there for the St. Henry town. So a vesting interest there a little bit. It was fun to watch that. Really enjoyed that. And then we just really chilled throughout the weekend. Had a really big week at work, still do. So really focused on that. I worked a lot of the weekend, but state championship there, I did nothing, and you took an impromptu trip to Lambeau Field to watch the Bears scare you a little bit.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube at Two Dads Pod, I've got one of the spotted cows. It took me like 4 days to remember what these are called. Like they would come to my table and be like, that stupid Wisconsin accent. Hey, what can I get for you?
Yeah.
You're like, can I get the? And I wanted to call it like I don't even know. I was like, did the cow drink? I literally looked like such an ass while I was up there, but impromptu trip to Green Bay. Knew it was going to be cold. Brought enough materials to try to cover up that cold. Wasn't anywhere close to. My feet were frozen, but it was an amazing experience. It was you, Bill Ray, who actually inspired me. If you listen to last week's episode with Kirby Stuckey, one of the things you talked about was your dream foursome, and that was to
in golf.
Golf.
Yeah. I was going to say, what did I sign up for here? Yeah.
We're looking for the second state championship. No, what I was saying is your dream golf foursome was with your dad. You had mentioned that if you could have a dream golf foursome, your dad would come back, who's since passed, and you guys would get around to golf. So I thought, how to be proactive. I actually went out there with my mom, and I went out there with her fiance and Tasha and myself. We met a few people knew me through like streaming. I stream video games professionally for Josh or anybody that's listening that doesn't know that I had some. I hate the term fans. It's not really that, but it kind of is that. Like, what's I don't know what the classification set for that. Let's call them friends that I met through streaming, but went up to Lambeau. I can't stress enough, even if you're not into the Packers, it is just a very special place. Very cold. They beat the Bears. very happy about that, but it was really cool to go up there, and I'm very grateful for that conversation. I don't want to start sentimental here, people. This isn't always this way. We goof around and stuff, but your conversation hit me, man, and it was really cool to be able to do that.
That's good. That's what we do this for. I've been to Lambeau. I'm 1-0 there as a Saints fan. So Rob Wente went with me one time, and we booked our first Airbnb ever there. And this is back in like 17 or 18 time frame, like when Airbnb was like new.
Dude, this is the one where you said you showed up and the lady's like, what do you like to drink? And then she like chauffeured you around the city and got you like a bunch of booze. Yeah,
dude, it was like
retell the story quickly. Though.
Yeah, it was like right when Airbnb like was fresh and new, right? So we're looking for hotels in Green Bay. Not a lot of options there. Super expensive. We're like, it's just Rob and I. Let's check this out, you know. Meanwhile, I was engaged to Haley. She's like, you're just staying at a random person's house?
While they're home.
And I was like, yeah, like we're staying in their basement and then they're living upstairs. So it's not even like the whole house was empty. We were like sharing it with them. And then when we got there, we were her first, it was a couple, their first Airbnb customers. So when we were
Ever?
I
don't think I knew this.
Yeah. So when we were driving up there, they were like messaging us and they're like, what do you guys like to drink? And I think we were still in like our mid-20s, so we're like, vodka Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
So we get in there, they got a bottle of vodka in there, they got a thing of Red Bull. We stayed there Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday morning, she brings down like fresh made muffins. And like, this is incredible, right? And then she's just like, so my mom lives like a block from the stadium. We have this cool tailgate if you guys want to go. If it's like $40 and then you just drink and eat whatever, it's just to kind of cover costs of stuff. I'm like, we know nobody here, right? So we went there with them and then we went to this house, and you've been there, and if anybody has, you're in this neighborhood, right? And it's right by the stadium. But you didn't see the stadium the way we drove in. You park, you go in the garage, they show us like the basement and stuff, and then we walk out the backyard, and I'm not even kidding. Like I could hit a pitching wedge to Lambeau Stadium, and it was just like, wow, this is incredible. So like, if you've never been to Lambeau as any sports fan, go. If your team's not playing the Packers, go watch. You know, if it's Bengals Packers and you're a Steelers fan, go anyways. Enjoy the experience because it's incredible.
Have you been to any spots in your coaching career or traveling that you've been to? Like, how was it like that in Canton? Like, I mean, when you went there, did you get an aha moment similar that we're talking about in Green Bay? I know that you were a little disgruntled about the location. You want to talk about that?
No, we'll save that for later. My wife and I, we went to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles when the Bengals played.
Did they win?
They did not because AJ Kramer in our Jungle Joe WhatsApp group, he changed.
Shout out to WhatsApp.
He changed the image of our group the week of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's on him.
What are we doing? You know, and like we are on the flight out, and I see that change, and I just like, Kel, we got to hop off this plane. Like,
we got to go back.
What are we doing? But no, walking into SoFi was an aha moment, man, and that was like a Super Bowl where there were stars everywhere. But that was special, you know, and we always said we would go if the Bengals ever got there.
Sure.
And I know they didn't win, but I got to see a heck of a ball game. That Logan Wilson penalty was right in front of us. That was not defensive holding.
Horrible call.
But it was a heck of an experience. And I mean, that stadium looks like a spaceship just landed in the ground.
Question for you real quick, because I heard this WhatsApp change, and this I have this question for later, but it's kind of perfect for this moment. We'll have a little fun with the boys before we get all sentimental and talk about family and life and stuff. As if you're new to the Two Dads podcast, we typically talk about business and family, failures and fears, how to overcome things. But that question kind of struck me there. All right. He changed the WhatsApp group and you're ready to come off the plane. Yeah. When I was doing some research and really just trying to compile a list of questions, the question I have for you, and I'm going to toss it to you too, Bill, you're not off the hook. Any superstitions from a coach? Like you sounded like that was very superstitious.
Big time.
Give me a little bit of like, whether it's throughout the season or leading up to the big game. Are there any weird mantras, really weird superstitions that you do? Do you have anything you can clue me in on a little bit of your mind?
So I didn't shave all postseason. And like, have you guys ever watched Ted Lasso?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like they can't beat Man City, right? And he has this burning of like everybody's favorite thing, right? To get over the hump. I'm like, I have to make an offering to the football guys. So I shaved before we went to Canton. So I was trying to make my offering. But no, there's all kinds of stuff. You know, I didn't wash my socks I wore on Fridays for a while. And some other stuff that I'd rather not go into.
How bad and stinky were those socks, though?
They were only worn on game time, so they weren't too bad.
I could only imagine you're like super nervous though. Don't you sweat more? Or you just calm, cool, and collective like
it's
that?
It's cold in Ohio right now. Though.
Yeah, that's true. I think definitely had to wash them after week 3. But I think everybody's got a little superstition naturally. I think baseball guys maybe even the most of anybody, right?
It's weird, but we are. It's a big baseball thing. It's a stigma, and it's accurate to me. So I coached 5 or 6 years at Coldwater there or whatever, right? So when I took over JV head coach, I coached with Ryan Spriggs and Riley Molenkamp on JV and freshman level there for a while. Ryan, avid listener, shout out Spriggy. But when he stopped coaching, I took over JV head coach. I was coaching third base, right, instead of first base. First base, you got a lot of little things. Talk to the players. They're on first way more than they're on third, right? Mm-hmm. Grab their batting gloves, their shin guards, all this other stuff. You're busy. Well, then I was sitting at third, and I'm like kind of getting antsy. So one day I was chewing seeds. I'd always chew seeds all the time. I had like 3 flavors, right? And then we'd go out there, we didn't score, and then we'd give up a run, and I'd spit out all the seeds and change flavor. Mm-hmm. So every time we gave up a run that inning, I'd spit out whatever flavor I was chewing and throw in the next flavor. And I was just like, there's another run. I spit them all out and throw another handful in. It's very weird, but I'd fill out my lineup card like the same time. Like if the game started at 5, at 4:44, I would always fill out the lineup card. Like
whether you won or lost, did you have any resets?
Nah, well, the good thing was we predominantly won there. So it wasn't like, too many losses to try to change things up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very superstitious. I even text Josh when we designed the shirts. I said, hey, you're going to state finals. We're going to produce shirts, win or lose, right? But I think I kept telling you, I only focused on the wins. I'm like, we're going to print championship shirts.
The losses are going to go to South Africa.
Nobody will ever see them.
I said, I got pretty good creative control with most coaches at Alberts. They're like, I trust your judgment, and we'll send something to them. And they're like, yep, that looks good. And I said, do you want to see it? He says, absolutely not. I'm superstitious. I said, sounds good. I won't show you a single
It walks
design.
the line between superstition and paranoid, but that I think two things came to my mind. One, we always make a lucky fry on the food truck. Like before a session, there was always, it's a weird thing. We had a really good run at it one time, and we just make one fry. One fry goes in the fryer, you drop it, and you put it in a paper, totally wasteful, by the way. You put it in a thing, and then you hide it somewhere different on the truck.
Okay.
And we believe that we're making our sort of Ted Lasso offering to the food truck gods that they're doing it. I was trying to think of what the other one I was thinking of. Oh, the Micah Parsons jersey that Bill bought me for my birthday. I have worn that because Micah I have Aaron Rodgers jerseys and stuff. Bill, very grateful. Birthday comes over, buys me a Micah Parsons jersey. After about 2 weeks, I wasn't really sure if this was like a cursed thing that he put on the Packers because every time I wore it, they lost.
Well, I bought you the first week. You guys lost to the Browns.
Yes.
That's a true hex.
Horrible.
Yeah, no doubt.
Dude.
Yeah.
They've lost every loss they've had. I wore the Micah Parsons jersey. The losses came after the Micah Parsons jersey and a tie, too. So I brought it to Lambeau as my cleansing. I actually brought 3 jerseys to Lambeau. I'm going to the game one day. I brought 3. I bought a Rodgers because I was like the winning ones, and they did great in that one. I have a custom nameplate. Shout out to Riker William back there. He wants one for Christmas. So we're just going to speak that into existence for you. And then I brought the Micah, and I thought, I've got to cleanse this in the waters of Green Bay. I've got to wear this jersey that's been lost, and now I bring it home, and then it's cleansed. So I feel like I've broken the curse. Had to drive all the way to Lambeau to do it, but we're a bunch of weirdos. Now that I think about that, there's probably people at home.
I think it's natural. I don't know if you've grown up around sports.
Tell us your superstitions. I would love in the comments on Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you can comment, maybe on Facebook as well in the comment section or Instagram. You can follow us. Let us know your superstitions. I'm genuinely curious. Everyone's got them. I think, Josh, you're spot on. We all got a little bit of weird things, but I'm curious to see that. One of these things I wanted to ask about at the roundtable portion before we go to the interview. Did you take off Monday? Did you go right back to work? Where are we at with that? Like, did you take time to celebrate this win, or do you just go right back on the hump and go back?
Right back to work. Yeah, right back to work full day on Monday. And you got to realize, to do this, Dr. Adi had to agree to it, and, I don't want to let him down from our business side. That's obviously what, feeds our families and things. So this is our first ever time having a run like this, and I owe him to get back into the clinic full time right away. So we did plenty of enjoying of that on Saturday night and Sunday recovery, and then back in the office Monday. Yep.
That's impressive. I think you're right though. Like, I think we'll get into it a little bit more. Like, I think there's a lot of people out here in the area that coach and are teachers, and that schedule's a lot more forgiving for your coaching, right? Like, it lines up with your school schedule. I worked full time, not at a school, while coaching, working third shift. So I know how hard that can be schedule wise to meet your commitment to the team and also to, your job and also your family. So pretty cool to see you go back Monday. I think a lot of guys would say, hey, I need to just,
I'm taking a day.
Take some chill time.
I'm with you guys. Look, work's going to be work. Dr. Adi's going to get over it if he's mad at you. You know what I mean? I'm just like, take a day. It sounds like you work so freaking much. It sounds like you're a grinder.
Yeah, well, I definitely, yes, I am a grinder. I work. I don't know. Raised that way, and that's what you do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, give me a little something. What's one thing you want to do now that it's over? But now that you got a little bit of time back, Mister, I got to fill my schedule constantly. What is there one thing you want to get into golf simulators? I mean, we're in the middle of the winter. What do you want to do?
I honestly, this is the funny part of the I like hanging out with my family. I don't know, not having to put them to bed in a hurry, so I'd have to go watch film and prep practice. Like to hang out with my wife, have a few Christmas ales at the end of the night, and flip on, Christmas Vacation. Like that is perfect. And I think that's where I'm at with my life right now, is kind of getting that reconnection back without other things on the mind. And I'm ready for a few Christmas sales. How about that?
Yeah, that works out great. I think it's funny. You're a few years, I think you're, 37, 38 years old time frame there. I think as you get older, though, as a parent, enjoying the simplicity of things is just so much more valuable because, your kids are getting older. Like last night, I got home from work. We went to Riker's school play, musical thing.
Yeah.
You come back, it's bedtime. Like I haven't even eaten dinner. You eat dinner, I answer a few work emails, bed.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the routine. So I think like this past weekend when we didn't do anything, like I worked from home a little bit, but just kind of not doing anything like of substance and just hanging and chilling with your family goes a long way some weekends when you're kind of like wiped.
I feel like I'm getting back into that. I feel like I'm heading toward that, like understanding it more and more. I think you have to get to a breaking point. I've gotten to mine in certain instances in my life with events that have happened, but at the same time, I think I'm recognizing it more and more. Like it's just calling to you, to slow down a little bit, appreciate this time you have with the kids, appreciate the moment that you guys are. And it's the same thing that Tom Burton says. We quote him all the time. He came in like this Zen guru. If you want to go back and listen to his podcast episode, he was with us. It's just about living in the now. And I think when you're living in these schemes from week to week, or you're in a playbook or a chess match, as Tim Goodwin called it back in the day, of constantly back and forth and figuring out and staggering and pivoting and thinking, you're really thinking about the future steps. You're thinking 4 or 5 moves ahead.
Yeah.
Now that it's over, it sounds like maybe it's just thinking about the now, which is, you know what? I'm going to sit in my underwear and watch Chevy Chase, try to put Christmas lights up on the...
Let's go, Eddie.
Did you at least have a couple drinks that night? Like, did you at least go get... Everything seems so postured. Did you at least go get loaded that night or have a little bit of fun?
We had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Fishmo's, there was some elevated dancing going on. And and then, of course, the Bucks game was on, so you get to go enjoy that. And didn't go our way. But, and honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to that. That game was on in the background. Our minds were elsewhere. So... we had plenty of fun on Saturday. Yep.
Well, I've got a question for you guys. This is going to be our first little mini game show, okay?
All right.
This is a fun mini game we're going to call Double Coverage. It's the Hangover Cure Draft. So if you've gone and had a few bevies, okay, on the night of the state championship, I've got questions that ran through my head, and we're going to turn it into a game show. Let me paint you a picture. It's the morning after the championship, okay?
Okay.
St. Henry has clinched it. They've won. Bill Ray, you get to pretend you're on St. Henry today, okay?
I am. I'm wearing their shirt.
He's got it right here.
Get the merch. Can you tell them where you can get the merch again real quick?
Yeah, you get it from Albert Sporting Goods, your best local sporting goods store in the area. Sales rep Bill Ray.
No free break. You know what? I'm getting a cut of that. Anyway, all right, so it's the morning after the championship, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Purely speculative here, Coach. Yeah. Maybe you've had a little bit of a hangover and you need to feel human again, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to be playing a game called Double Coverage, the Hangover Cure Draft.
Okay.
Right? Each one of you, okay, myself included, get to pick one food and one beverage.
Ooh.
No salads, no protein shakes. This is survival mode.
Yeah, who wants
Coach,
that after?
You're going to be, exactly. Yeah. You're on the clock. What's your double coverage hangover cure? What's the food and what's the drink?
Oh, you don't have lists? I just get a pick.
No, you just get to pick, and then if that's taken, Bill doesn't get it. Bill, you're up next. So just
He
be
ain't
on
taking mine. I'm good.
Okay, so I am going St. Henry Bake Shop hash browns.
Ooh.
Okay, St. Henry Bake Shop hash browns, and then a Bloody Mary.
You're chasing hair of the dog?
Yeah, buddy.
Whoa, dude.
That seems like you're waking up going to the Bengals game the next morning. That seems like a Bengals
Might as
order
well.
on Sunday.
You know,
This
they
guy's tough.
play on Sundays, so you know they're playing somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a little bit about you, though, with the hair of the dog move. Did not expect that. Vegas had that. Bill Ray, 2 Dads Bets. What do we have that
That's
over there?
plus 2,000.
Wow, that's a high one. Bill Ray, you're drunk as a skunk the night before. You got a hangover cure. Where you sit with that? What are you getting in the morning?
Morning's important. The word morning's important for my
Or
answer.
mid-afternoon.
Nope, I'm gonna go with morning because that solidifies my answer. If I'm have any choice in the world, I'm going to Chickasaw Quick Stop and I'm getting a breakfast pizza.
Wow.
An incredible breakfast pizza they have
Very
there. And then it's down to like 2. It's either a yellow Gatorade.
That's a classic move. I honestly, that went through my head, dude. I know that's like boring answer. Coach is crying. He's crying right now.
That's like the OG of all the Gatorades, right?
He has like nostalgia with his hangover.
Yeah.
It's that or a crispy McDonald's Diet Coke.
Ooh,
Okay.
the fountain style.
And I got a 30-second shout-out story for Cody Horseman. We went to country concert one year, right? Multiple years, but we were probably 22. We're driving home in the back of a pickup truck. And we stopped through McDonald's and this 9-guy order, right? And then it's back when they had the styrofoam cups, right? They don't have the plastic ones.
Okay.
So you might know Cody Horseman.
yeah.
Yeah. So Cody's a character. And he looks at me and he turns around. He sits right beside me. He grabs 2 fingers and he just destroys my styrofoam cup of Diet Coke.
Oh my!
I'm hungover as hell,
dude.
and he just says, "Here's a Busch Light," and like that was it. Like no one else is giving me a drink of your drink, so we just sat there. We're like,
No. There it goes.
hair of the dog,
And
baby.
it worked.
I mean, I drank it.
When you were
and
22.
Yeah, it was
I guess
easier
you don't
then
even
than it
know.
was
You're not
now.
even tuned with your body at that point. I'm just.
Yeah.
If you guys could see me on YouTube, my face is very furrowed with
What
that.
about you though? You can't say 2 Dads. That's free marketing, and then no free brand deals here, even though it is 2 Dads.
Mine would be definitely has always been. It started at the Town Tavern. I would always get the chicken fingers with the honey mustard. I don't know why that one. When I could get to the point where I could eat, that's when I knew I was on the home stretch. You call them up over there. You get the chicken tenders and the honey mustard, and then I'm torn on that one, dude. I always got like a Gatorade. I'm telling you, a Gatorade of yellow, classic sick. You know, you're homesick from school. Dad, here's a yellow Gatorade. You're going to school tomorrow though. Dad, I have hypothermia. I'm dying. I don't care.
That's what the Gatorade's for.
We used to walk to school. We don't give a shit.
The Fountain McDonald's Coke.
Mine was gonna be
is
Fountain
a
Sprite,
classic.
dude.
You know, yeah.
Fountain
I
Sprite.
think that's a solid answer. Yeah.
Haley Joe said the same thing in there. I didn't want to give it up because we were having a chat beforehand in there. Fountain Sprite, fountain products out of that. I don't know what heavenly elixirs they put into that, but it's a beautiful, makes you feel good.
I was always a Baja Blast guy too.
Never got
Yeah.
into Bajas.
Yeah, never got into the Baja
I never
Blast.
rode that Baja train, and I know
Man.
Berkey is gonna rip. He doesn't listen to podcast. It doesn't matter. Lives rent free in my head.
It's I like it, but it's like a mood thing for me. Like Baja, when I won, I'm like, damn, I really need a Baja Blast.
Yeah.
It's not as often, obviously, but some would say, with some experience, I've gained a pretty good gathering of what I need Saturday and Sunday mornings. I drank with Josh when we were younger a little bit, playing some softball. So
Sure.
we know what we need.
Wild card here at the end of the hangover cure session. If you had to throw a dessert in there, what's your favorite dessert? I'm just curious, like to finish off the, you got a little sweet
Just
treat.
any dessert.
Yeah, like a
are we
sweet treat.
hungover or is
Yeah,
this
like
any
you're coming
dessert?
off of it. Maybe you're just feeling like a little junk food. And you want to
I'll let you take this one
Yeah,
first,
go.
Bill.
Man, that's a good question. I would say sweets don't appeal to me
Okay,
when
what
I'm
would you-
when I'm hungover. Probably, I need like something greasy and some carbs and something. But if I would go hungover, I'd say, hey, I live in Montezuma. I stayed at Josh's or Mitch's in another town, and I'm driving home hungover. I'm getting a yellow Gatorade and a Reese's Fast Break. If I have to have a sweet,
Okay.
Josh, you into sweets at all? I know you seem like you live a military regimented life, but
No, so I'm actually not a big sweets guy either.
you're
I'm
an
actually-
optometrist, not a dentist.
I understand that. So I actually would prefer my favorite candy is the Airhead Bites.
Ooh,
I
Dude,
love
those are
gummies are
good.
cool. Hey, bro, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I ragged on you back
Yeah.
there. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm more of a fruit candy rather than chocolate. Airhead Bites are terrific. So
I gotta
that's
say,
mine.
I'm in the Reese's stick kind of guy. I like the Reese's sticks. I think they got the
Reese's
perfect.
sticks.
Yeah, like the little like little wafer inside them. They're like crunchy.
I don't know if I know what those are.
I'll bring them to you. I'm gonna bring them by the office and stuff.
Okay, please do.
We'll hook you guys up.
That'd be great.
Thank you guys for playing my little mini game. That was fun. I just wanted to
you got the new sound over there.
You guys are gonna notice I've got a little new sound in here, but we're just messing with things. We got even more. We're gonna have memes and all kinds of stuff here coming up. Hey, podcast listeners, it's Christmas season, the time of the year when the Celina Moose Lodge 1473 steps out into the community, helping families, dropping off surprises, and spreading real holiday kindness. If you see something good happening around town and the Moose is involved, well, that's Christmas. Inside the lodge, the holidays are packed. On December 20th, it's the Holiday Hootenanny with the Hubie Ashcraft Band from 7:20 to 11:30, one of the biggest nights of the season. Remember, the Moose will also close at 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve and then reopen at 4 p.m. on Christmas Day with Lauren Rissmiller performing from 6 to 9. If you want to be a part of Christmas, catch great music, or just spend the holidays with good people, stop by the Celina Moose Lodge 1473. It's got community, heart, and a place that actually feels like home. Okay, so for those that are tuning in and listening and following along as we just had a little bit of fun, today we've got a guest who literally just got back from Canton, probably a little bit of fresh turf pellets still in his shoes. Yeah. Nope, he's got the Nikes on. They look good. Our guest today is St. Henry through and through. Josh Werling grew up there, played on the 2006 state title team, and this year he's the head coach who just led the Redskins to their first state championship since 2006. And yes, for all you Marion Local listeners, it pains me to say, his team is the one that finally snapped our Flyers' win streak on the way to Canton. But such is time and history. Off the field, he's not sitting around drawing up plays all day. He's your eye doctor at Mercer In-Sight in Celina, small-town optometrist, business owner, husband, dad, and a man of faith trying to juggle all of that while an entire community is watching. Coach Josh Werling, welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here. Thank you again for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having me again, guys. This is great. Thank you.
So I'll toss it to you, Bill.
I know you pretty well. I've had a pretty good relationship with you, though. But we have a wide variety of listeners out there. Some are local, some are non-local. So to kind of let them get to know you, can you give me a quick 30-second snapshot of who you are, what you do, and kind of who you are at home and around the area?
Yeah, so Mitch here hit it pretty good. Optometrist by day. I kind of got into coaching on accident, but I love it. At the end of the day, come home to 3 beautiful daughters, and I am a girl dad. I have embraced that, and outkicked my coverage with my wife for sure.
Same.
Yeah. I think that's everybody, right? I'm a guy who lives every day very full, very busy, but can put my head down at the end of it, knowing I lived a full day. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
I love that answer. What do you think if your daughters had to describe you in one sentence, what do you think they would say?
I think Maya would call me. She would say I'm an eye doctor. Maddie would probably, that's my second one. She's the one my mom said I deserved. She would probably just call me bald. That's probably what she would call me. And then my third one would probably give me a big hug, say daddy until mom comes around.
What ages are we dealing with?
So 7, 5, and 2.
Oh, you're in the thick of it, dude.
Yeah.
You're a football coach at the same. I can barely handle 5 and 7. Yeah. I got 2 kids. Riker's 8?
Riker's 8. So by the time he's a senior, be some girls over in St. Henry he's interested in. I'll make sure I let him know.
Yeah. No, if it's Maddie, the 5-year-old, that one, like if a young man asks me for her hand, he's going to have to sign like no return policy. It
comes with a waiver.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your insurance look like, kid?
Yeah. So, so our house is, very busy, but now again, as we talked before, we get to exhale a little bit and kind of reconnect here holiday season. We got Elf on the Shelf rolling right now. So, we're bought in. We're ready to go.
I love that. I think a lot of people probably will tune in this podcast. If you're new here, we'll get to football a little bit, but we talk a lot about the man behind the football plays. We talk about the coach. You were talking about a little bit. Can you paint me a picture of the Werling house on a random non-football Tuesday? Like, what does a normal life look like for you? Kids, maybe routine, chaos and quiet.
Routine. If it's a non-weightlifting day, I'm home getting breakfast ready for everybody. Then I'll take the oldest to school. My wife drops the other 2 off before she goes to work at daycare. And then really the mad scramble happens. If I can get out of the office by 5:10, I can get them by 5:30. And then I'm dinner bath guy. So I try to have baths done. I cook the girls' dinner. And then my wife and I, we do home chef. So I'll cook up a home chef while my girls are eating, and then hopefully by that time, usually time's up for pretty good for Kelly to get home. I try to have all that done because she doesn't get home till like 6:40, 6:45. And if I don't have that stuff done, it really cuts into our night. So so really from like 5:30 pickup until like 6:40, it's that like 70-minute sprint to then be able to hang out and be a family. So it is hectic. And that's my wife gets 1 day off a week, and that's very nice.
What does she do?
So she's a pharmacist at CALPS.
Doctor.
Hey. She, I knew I was going to marry her early. So, but no, we, it's chaotic. It's just the life we live right now. And even in football, it's the same thing. We would end practice at 5:20 so I could walk back up to the Wally and then get them by 5:30 and still get dinner, bath, all that stuff done, Are
you like a really regimented guy? Would you say your personality is skewed to like time management now? I mean, is that a built-in personality trait?
I think I have to be. I think I've become more like this should only take 10 minutes because that's all I have, right? This should only take 6 minutes, So then there's my 5-year-old like la-di-da-di-da, like, come on, Madeline, we got to go. You should have been done with this an hour ago, But I think you naturally become that when you have other things going on. So I think the balance of like not being too controlling though with your kids, like you still enjoy them while they're kids, but there are certain times, as everybody knows, I think every young parent is like, we got to go, guys. Like, come on, what are we doing here? That's a little picture of the Werling house at the end of the day is the sprint to the relax.
Yeah, I think the kid aspect of that thing definitely throws wrenches in plans far too often, right? Getting Riker dressed in the morning and things like that. I think it's cool how you kind of have, we have defined roles in this house a little bit. So I think it's cool how, you have your routine.
What's yours?
What's mine?
Yeah, what's your, like,
work a shit ton.
You're the breadwinner. That's okay role though.
I've said this, and Haley will claim it too. We actually claim that I think we have a really healthy marriage as opposed to some people that struggle because we know our roles and our expectations. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't do what she does well. She can't do what I do well. So if you kind of mesh that puzzle together, it kind of creates a whole. It's more of like an old school marriage where I go, I work a lot, I do make the money, I do pay the bills, I do all that stuff. She keeps the laundry done, she gets the dishes done, she gets Riker to and from school, and then kind of like what you say, I don't get home till 6:30 most days. Dinner's ready, we eat, and then we have that 7 to 8:30 family time, kind of.
Yep.
And then now Riker's thing is he's went full football, and I'm glad he loves all sports. I'm a baseball guy, but he's kind of put that to the side a little bit for football. And it's just like right when we're done eating, like we're running routes in the living room. Like we've got
we'll be running routes after this. I've seen every episode ends with Riker coming sprinting out here if he's not at his haircut right back, but he makes the people throw passes. Let me ask you this, because a lot of people who are active listeners, we'll probably get a lot of new people from St. Henry. Hi, I'm Mitch. They call me OG Pickle. That's Bill right to my left. But
follow, subscribe.
That's right. Nice. But one of the things that we try to do is give a piece of advice, and I think this is pertinent because in our age, right, in our 30s, maybe late 20s for some people that listen, based on our audience, how do you get there? I don't want to get too symbolic, too deep, but you carve that role, you sort of carve that role. Was there any adjustment for you? Any advice, just generally, for people who are looking for that balance between, finding that balance in relationship of how to find that lane? I wasn't always good at it. I'll share with you guys now. Like, I wasn't always good at it. I sort of struggled with, well, that's what you're supposed to do, and I'm supposed to do this. But I think, is it communication?
Yeah, that was the word I was going to use. Communication, and don't ever forget thank you. And that goes for any little task. And my wife, I don't even know if she hears me say that anymore, but so I was mentioning all what I'm doing after, but she's doing all the stuff like making sure our kids have clothes that fit, making sure that if the classroom needs snacks, she's got them all bagged up and ready. She does all the grocery shopping, all that. So you're talking to find roles, Kelly's doing all of that. And, I think just a simple thank you that I see that you're doing that. Because she'll say that, every time that I have supper ready, she'll come home and say, thank you for cooking. And that's all I need, but I think communication back and forth, and you can sense when your spouse is stressed. Like like Kelly can come home sometimes and know that I want to put all 3 of them in a box, free to a good home, and vice versa, so like but you have to communicate that. And then usually at the 8:30 hour, you put them down and you kind of go over your day and say, yeah, like that was too much. Like what happened? Yeah. So
I think that his word communication is key. I'll run off of that, Haley and I, as I observe and think, we have a really healthy, strong marriage because we do communicate, but we've had our downs. We've definitely not been great at all times. But to really understand that where we were 10, 12 years ago, 11, sorry. Don't hate me for not remembering, but about 11 years ago, right? It's one of those where we didn't communicate effectively. I get a little upset because she didn't do this, or she gets mad because I went and did that or this. And, it could be just as something as she had a huge work day and I decided to go golfing and I'm not thinking about her feelings back at home necessarily. Yeah. Where that's the time we're like, hey guys, I'm not going to make it today. Yeah. Like I can't make it today. Got a lot going on or whatever. Yeah. But truthfully, like understanding that who you dated 11 years ago and who you're married to today are 2 totally different people. Like it's still Haley to me. It's still my wife. I still call her Joe. She's 70% the same person, but we've all grown, right?
I always say the same thing to Tasha. I'm always like one of the points that I always say is like, you got to let me grow. You know what I mean? And one of the things that we've found is that's very important to our side of this too. I think communication's huge. I think what you said, Bill, about finding understanding, that middle ground, that balance, right, of just hearing each other out, which I think stems from communication. Ours was love language. It was understanding, like, mine might be words of affirmation, so that thank you really goes a long way, where hers is not words of affirmation, so a thank you is just sort of like, this is what was expected. What do you mean? She might be more into gift giving or quality time, right? Yeah. So I encourage people to check that out too. I know we went on a little bit of a tangent here, but I think that's important because for those listening, like that's what we want to try to give. It's like, I want to understand the man behind what it takes to coach to that state championship level. Yeah. It's not just X's and O's. Believe me, it goes into how you are building a foundation at home. If you came into work unhealthy, if you came into work without mental clarity, without knowing that you could go out there and fail and that your wife's still going to love you, I mean, you're an armed man now. You feel good. You got the weight off your shoulders, and you can direct that laser-like energy, directly forward. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing, you talked about it a little bit earlier. You said you kind of backed into coaching a little bit. Maybe that wasn't, I don't know the words you said earlier, but yeah, maybe it wasn't what you were like gaining at. I'd like you to dive into that a little bit. Like, I don't want to see backdoor in the job. You can tell me about it. But then, a second part of that is kind of outside of that, 2006 state champion as a player, 2025 state champion as a coach. Yeah. I know I didn't win one as a player. I was assistant coach for Coldwater when we won one in baseball. What one means more to you personally? So kind of a 2-part question there.
Okay, so first part, how'd I get into coaching, right? So when I graduated optometry school, my brother Matt was a senior. So I wanted to and at that time in my work life, Chad and I had 2 locations, so I actually had an afternoon off. So I had approached Coach Luthman and asked if, hey, can I just help part-time? And he was cool with that. And then eventually an actual full-time assistant role came up. And I wouldn't be in coaching if Brad Luthman didn't let me. So when I started coaching, I would coach Monday through Wednesday. I'd work all day Thursday and Friday and just meet the team at the game site wherever we were Friday. So I didn't have to come on Thursday, and Brad made that an option for me. So that's the only reason I even had a chance to get into coaching was Brad's forgiveness of my schedule.
What is it about coaching that made you draw toward it? What is it about coaching as a whole that's kind of interesting to you?
I genuinely love working with those kids, man. Like, there is something about a locker room camaraderie, and I mentioned this before. Like, I am like a grinder, right? People hate two-a-days. I freaking love it. Like, I love like just this common goal, a bunch of dudes working towards one common goal. And like, I love that grind of like 4 weeks. And I think that's what galvanizes your relationship with all of it, because it puts a stress on everything, right? Like you're like a marriage, right? You can have stressors and those things, but does it break you, or do you weld that and now it's stronger, right? So like I genuinely love forging those bonds with those kids at those times. And to me, like the fall to me is like, this is where we get after it with this group of young men. And I think I've just been wired that way from high school to college, you know, playing in college too, that like the fall is when I really forge those relationships. And I always make the joke with my wife that like I work with women all day. I come home to a bunch of women all day. Like, I love my girls, don't get me wrong, but I need some like male camaraderie.
I got into coaching because I have 3 daughters and I come home to women everywhere and I just need to spend some quality time with dudes.
And it's great, don't get me wrong, but like that male camaraderie is something that I get now through coaching, which is tremendous. So thank you to Brad. That's the only reason I am even in it.
I don't want to skip the importance of that question, because Bill, that's a great question. Like I want to know what's more, but like coaching as an evolution. When you get into it in that first job, you're sort of in it to sort of maybe a discovery phase, maybe to figure out if you have it, like the talent to do it. Do you have the knack to do it? It's sort of a curiosity phase. How's coaching changed from then to now? Has it changed in any capacity for you?
From like when I first started?
Yeah, like
now?
the feeling or what you get out of it. What have you learned from it maybe, or how to get the most out of people?
Yeah, I think you'll have to evolve as a coach, and you're never going to have all the right answers, but I think experience gives you different buttons to press. You know, I think I have Mike Gast, who's one of my really great friends. He's the head baseball coach at St. Henry.
Shout out, Mike.
Yeah, he's somebody we just bounce ideas off of. You know, I think me and him both have this philosophy of our team needs, our players need to feel like they have ownership of the team, you know, at least some stake in it. So like important decisions, I like to include our leadership council, whether it be all of our captains or our seniors, and then we make our decisions moving forward. So yeah, I think coaching has, or early, I thought it was just one guy's effort controls the group. I think as you go forward, the more you empower the group, the better the product.
Have you seen that translate in the statistical categories that matter? Not just grit and teamwork, but do you see as they bond together as one team, do you see the results for everybody then? Like, I guess it's kind of an easy question to answer in that stance, but do you see others around them on the fringe, the JV guys now getting and seeing what the varsity guys and the freshmen see what it's like? Because I think there's certain programs around here that have probably fostered that. And I think the first thing when you got hired, I was working at Lock Performance still with Mitch Stogler.
Okay.
And I know you know Mitch, and I was just like, he's like, Josh is the exact person to help take this program to the moon. And he said that solely because of the locker room aspect and just the pride in St. Henry that you carry as a graduate. I think when you brought the St. Henry socks back, like, that was awesome because that's just like a community thing. Like bringing back those legacy type things, I think really helped build a program.
So I don't know if you even know this. So we brought in these legacy marker things. So we all have these tomahawks on our helmets, right? So I was trying to find a way, how do we reward everybody in the program at all levels? So I had sent a mass text out to, I think, 175 former players, 1985 to 2015, or to present. And I asked for, name me the hardest working, most consistent player you ever played with. And I got 5 common names, most common names. Ben and Jeff Hardings. Okay, so that award is now called the Hardings. That's only given to a team captain. That's the best of us, okay?
That's awesome.
All right, that's a chief on the marker on the helmet. And then Tony Borgerding, they called him Touchdown Tony. He was in the 80s. So I guess I'll start in linear. Jay Knapke got one as well. That's a new guy, all right, a newer guy. But he is given to any player who is exceptional at the JV or freshman level.
That's really cool.
So his is an arrowhead. That's the young guys. The young guys in the tribe collect the arrows. So Tony, the people talked about him practicing harder than he played. And so like you have to practice with the weapon. So Tony, that goes to a practice effort. So a scout team guy or exemplary effort all week, those kind of things, that's the spear. Okay. And then John Werling was the other one. That would be Charlie's dad. There's a story about the last time we beat Coldwater before we did in 2018. That was 1996. And when they did that, he was puking in a bucket after the game, exhausted, must have had blood everywhere that he was just covering up with his red jersey. That goes to anybody overcoming an ailment to help our team to victory. And that's the Warrior. And then the Hardings is the Chief. So like you talk about incorporating, making sure everybody's held accountable. I think those awards, and when our kids get those, they get to call that player.
That's awesome.
That's
so
sweet.
Yeah, so then you reconnect the former alumni back with our group, and that was our first fall doing that, and that was really special. Yeah.
What
Do you need a left tackle?
we have a lot of business owners. We also have people that are prospective potential business owners one day, and we have people that are a part of teams, right? Like, so we've got this collective group, maybe in our own sort of tribal look at this, right?
Yeah.
Any piece of advice for how you build a good team, whether you're on the team or building the team? Because it sounds like, you did this in 2 years, and you've done a lot that maybe people haven't done in the past, and it's clearly working. Any piece of advice for somebody that manages a team or is a part of a team to try to keep things going so synergistic like you just did?
We have had a very fun run these 2 years. It still takes talented players. But I think I don't know how to answer that. I think you have to know your people and then know what ignites that player. Like I know for a fact that one senior I approach this way and I'll get everything out of him. But if I do that same thing for the other guy, it ain't happening. You got to take him off to the side and kind of talk to him just man to man. So like I think if you're talking about how do you amplify each player, I think you then have to know that player, and that's where you build it in the weight room and the two-a-days is you know what makes that kid tick, and they know how you tick too, and they know what ticks you off and what they're going to get praised for, and I think you just have to know that, and you have to lean on that relationship. That's what I would say is relationships are what really take things to another level.
Would you agree with that, Bill? You've led a lot of teams in manufacturing. I know it's a different kind of process, but you still have to have efficiency and results, right? No different than a football team would.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a second part of that question on how do you do that at your place of work, because I think that's a different question. Mm-hmm. The way you treat the kids and the way you treat your coworkers is probably a little different.
Is it? I mean, are there similarities or dissimilar? I think it's a fair question, Bill.
No, that's a great question. I love where our staff is now from a work standpoint. I think Beth and Chad have done a great job of trying to incorporate more engagement between our employees. Our employees have a genuine interest in each other's families as well. Actually, one of our employees, her daughter is a cheerleader at St. Henry. She now babysits our daughters when we need a little extra help, and she's tremendous, and I think we now have that family bond there just from that connection, So Maddie got her tonsils out Marion week. Brooke brought over a big fluffy bunny with these floppy ears, and life was good, So I think management and business side may be a little different. It's not as hostile, and maybe just the interactions are just slightly different, more professional, but you still have to have the relationship with the employee. Otherwise, what are they? They're just working for a paycheck, right? Like, are they working for the paycheck, or are they working for the family you're building within the building?
Yeah, I think. How many employees do you guys have? Do you know? Rough number?
25 to 30, probably.
That's, and to answer your question earlier, yeah, it's about the size of the team we have now, where I currently work at VSF. Previously, managed between 1 to 350 employees, right? So at different places. So I think the key to it all is to just stay consistent. Like truthfully, like don't waver in what your belief and standard is. Where I work now, we say we have the VSF standard. Okay, and you hear me talk about things, and I don't talk about my professional job too much on here because I got to, keep it as professional and keep those interests out of the podcast.
It's fair. I mean,
but the story remains the same of like we hold the standard, and if you're not meeting the standard, we let you know that. And then we tell you how we plan to get you there, but we ask you what are the roadblocks of you getting there?
Here's one of the key points that I've noticed from both of you, though. You guys let them know what the standard is. And I think as an employee, you probably want to be informed. You want to know where you're heading. And as a leader, in your own way, right, leading the team, you let them know where the standard's at. And I think that's one of the reasons St. Henry probably has won the state championship is the standard that you set, no matter if it's 2-a-days or if it's a conversation, feeling comfortable approaching you as a coach, or even knowing or having the awareness to bring them to the side and say, hey, I know this player responds a little differently. Talk to me about the state championship run, because I want to get back to Bill's question about which one meant more, but some people don't know what the state championship run was like. What was it like for you? Your second year, you've given us a really good foundation, to be fair. You've talked to us about setting the standard and bringing in historical figures and now setting an example for them to follow, setting the tone, getting a connection with these players, a legacy with these players. What was the run like this year?
Again, it's really hard to articulate. You're just when you're in it, you're just taking it one game at a time. You mentioned consistency, right? Yeah. So like every Sunday I do this, Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this, and the kids anticipate those things, and you're just trying to survive in advance, right? So, but we talked a lot all off season about getting to a regional final, whether who we don't know who we're going to play, but if you can get out of our region, you got a chance to win the last one, right? So then you get that one, and it's this euphoric event, and then you have to again focus on Sunday because your players are expecting that information on Monday as you've presented it all year. So you turn the page quickly, and I think mid-game on Saturday in the final is when I just kind of started to breathe. And started to really kind of take in what we had done. And it was, and then you turn around at a timeout and you look into the stands and you see how many people traveled there, and you feel the excitement. It's palpable, and to feel that as a person who is leading that program, I don't know how else you feel, but proud of what you've been able to accomplish, and be thankful for all the people that have helped you along the way. And most importantly, the friends and family that were watching the kids, or, a wife running extra errands while you're doing extra things. And you just, you can't help but feel the appreciation and gratitude to get you there.
What's it like to get the running clock on a team in a state championship game? I think we've seen quite a few MAC teams do that.
Yeah.
We've seen Marion do it. I remember Delphus, when I was in high school, put like 66-0 on somebody maybe back in the day.
Yeah,
that was
something.
Probably close when you were in high school when they threw it down. Okay. What's that feeling like? You finally go up 30, the running clock. Does that take a lot of the pressure off a little bit?
I think that's when I started to kind of appreciate it.
Came up for air.
Yeah, the game's not over. I think I referenced at halftime the Mogador game and our 96 history. Again, important to know your program and know the history of your program. But yeah, I just trusted in our defense at that point. Craig Deuce had been awesome all year. And I don't know, I think at that moment when I started to see that tick, 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 it's just like, okay, Josh, you can just take the foot off the gas for 1 second here and just enjoy it, because you never know if you ever get back. Yeah. ever. Like, so when people, I think people get sick of me trying to say I'm trying to enjoy. I am. I truly am. Like, if you work that hard for a common goal and you get to it, I hope people can appreciate that I am just trying to enjoy every second of this, and you just reflect on the players that bought in and did all the things. And I've sent so many thank you for everything messages, and it just, the outpouring of support and everything has been overwhelming.
In the state championship game, they can review plays.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of wild. So I think that was kind of a cool little aspect of that. But you spoke how much it meant. You politely ran it up on them in a dominating fashion. Let's relate back to, you say 06. 06 to 25, 19 years.
Yeah.
Which one means more to you, the person, Josh Werling?
To me, the person would be this one. I think when you're a player, and my grade was we were very good, and we almost expected to win in 2006. And I think as a kid, your job is to do what coach says, right? And if I do this, we're going to be okay. to be the guy in charge of all of it and keeping all their focus on the right things and to do the process over 2 years of having them buy into what you think they can be. You're trying to see his future, like what that young man can be before he even knows that. And then for them to see that vision through, I think that is by far and away been the most rewarding thing of all of it, guys, is that the kids trusted me enough and they bought in and did everything that they could to become that young man, that young player. And now that group of young men will be on our school wall forever, and nobody can take that away from them. And I'm just very proud to have any bit of a part of engineering that for them.
That's gonna be a lifetime for them.
Forever.
They'll never. I mean, you've solidified your spot in a growth period among young student athletes, and I think that's. Was it when you guys, from your perspective, 20,000 foot view? Mm-hmm. Did you see a similar reaction to state when you beat Marion Local? How special was that to end their streak? I mean, I know state championship, some people will say that's a whole different level. I agree.
Yeah.
But I still think you hit some pretty big milestones on the way there. Was it a similar feeling in the locker room to that? I mean, people were trying to knock them off for years, not just one season, like 5 seasons.
Well, and you played them twice this year. So you lost the first time, and it's a little rematch action.
Yeah, I think that one, you almost put more pressure on that regional final game because you've been building to that pivot point, right? Like everything you've been preaching to your kids, like if we do it this way and you grow this way and you trust and you grow together, that this is a game that you can get that we may have not in the past, right? So if you lose that regional final, in my own mind, because I'm my own worst critic, right? I think we all are, right?
I hate myself.
Will I lose the kids' trust if we don't come through with a win? And I think that's a really hard question to ask myself in the mirror, but that's what my worry was, is I don't want to lose the trust of those young men because they have poured everything into me for 2 years. And to get that one, I think, one, it makes a believer of the kid, but it almost makes you a believer in yourself.
I love that answer.
You can all have these self-doubts that start to surface at times, right? That game started like a nightmare. Do you guys even know how that game started? We fumble the kickoff. They go in and score 7-0. There's 50 seconds off the clock, and our kids never wavered, and they just went right. The next snap is the most important one, not the last one, right? So, to come out of that with that win against that great community and program, that was special too. Yeah.
Let me ask you bluntly. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna shoot it straight for people listening for yourself. Yeah. When you beat Tim Goodwin's team there, did you know you were going to win state?
No. Columbus Grove I knew was very good. You kind of been watching them from afar. They had these Baxter boys that were good. This sophomore Baxter is number 4. He is going to be a monster. Yeah, he was a stud.
It's funny because I'll see stuff on just different Facebook posts, right? And, I like to read the comments. I don't participate in them too much. I just like to read and kind of see what some people are saying. And it's like, who's going to win? Everybody's like, it's either Marion or St. Henry. Like that was like the consensus kind of on like the message boards. But everybody was kind of saying like Columbus Grove's not getting enough attention. So one guy said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, St. Henry, Marion is the state championship game. The winner of that and Columbus Grove is the state semi game. And the championship would have been regional finals. They almost think it should have flopped the way the region planned out. And I was like, I don't want to slight any teams, but I think if you looked at the matchup in the games, that match is pretty much up. Yeah. I'd rather see Marion and St. Henry in the state finals or St. Henry and Columbus Grove. I think it would have been a better game. I'm glad you ran the clock up and got the running clock and didn't have to worry about it as much. But
the bracket is what it is, guys. Yeah. You can't control who you play when. But the Marion win. No, that was not like, oh, we've won it all. And that was our messaging right away on Monday, and even Saturday morning. We tell our kids enjoy that win Friday till midnight, and then turn the page. And Saturday when I got them in the weight room, it was we better be ready for Grove.
I'm noticing this more and more in most of your answers. Like I can feel this like, nope, we got the next one, next man up, regardless if it's optometry or it's, I got to make, we burnt the pancakes we were making for the girls. I'm going to go make a quick run of the, you know what I mean? We're going to McDonald's real quick.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this because I think from the outside a little bit too, I think your identity in a small town is always going to be head coach for a while. In your optometry world, where someone like myself, like I'm thankful for you and Dr. Audie. Like I don't see well, I'm colorblind. Like it's fantastic to go in there and get the treatment that I do at Mercer In-Sight. I go there myself, so this is not a free brand deal.
I went there myself.
Yeah, there you go.
Mill and myself, friends of the two dads.
They're kindly people there.
Exactly. But people might think something like, man, Josh just keeps winning, but both you and I know it never feels that clean in real time. How do you personally handle sort of this doubt, maybe future mistakes, or the fear of letting people down in the future? I mean, you set a pretty big precedence.
Yeah, I think one of my Achilles heels is I am a people pleaser. I do not like to let anybody down. And taking this job, like Kelly and I, we sat and talked over this a bunch. Like that's a community we live in. We're going to live there forever. And you don't ever want to bring anything negative towards that. You don't want to have I like being liked in town. I like
see him
going
at the
over
grocery store, bro.
Yeah, I like talking to my neighbors, and so you stick your neck out there a little bit. And I don't know. It just thankful for the win. Going to enjoy it forever. And we'll just take it one season at a time. The problem I think I'm going to have, because this is not forever. I will not coach for 10, 20 years. I just can't. I'm burn the candles too much, I think the next evolution of life after coaching will be, how do I redefine myself next? Or I don't want to say, can I be happy with being optometrist and dad and husband? That's a beautiful life. But I have always like to challenge myself and engulf myself in trying to get to the next thing. And I don't know. I think that's just always kind of maybe the little man syndrome in me, or the underdog syndrome in me is I'm going to work and invest in myself to prove people that I can do stuff, or do this thing. And I don't know if that's just the Burkittsville wiring in me, but that's just that's how it is,
I got a question for you on that. I think it's a really good point for you. You're kind of looking for that next why, maybe, right, after coaching. Is there anything else in the community or the local area that you think you could coach people on or work them through outside of football, right? I mean, I think you got a good head on your shoulders. Obviously, your optometrist side, but is there anything else you'd want to teach the community and help the community with?
That's a great question. That's something maybe you perk your ears up if you hear something come up. And I don't know. We'll worry about that one down the line, though. Yeah, down the line.
I have a question more about family, too, because a lot of things that you talked about are a culmination of a lot of effort. We talked a little bit about your family in the beginning. Most people will see the highlight reels, right? Like they'll see, the running clock, or they'll reference you in what's right in front of them, what's presented to them. Press Pros magazine, a television highlight, a story from Instagram or Facebook reels, right? But they don't see the trade-offs a lot, right? You made it to your culminating factor. You did what you said you wanted to do. You manifested success. You built the culture, the teamwork, the success. You got the beliefs, and they did the damn thing. What did the season cost you and your family, though? Like, was it time, energy, headspace? Like,
yeah,
I want to know a little bit about the behind the scenes.
What this team gave my family, though, was something you can never, ever articulate. So one of my favorite moments of every Friday is when my wife would bring either the older two girls or just the oldest. Maya is always there waiting, waiting for that last reporter or waiting for whatever. And she sprints to dad, right? And then, I get a hold of, at some point, I even told a couple of reporters, like, listen, my little girl over there is waiting for dad. I'm going to hold her while we do that interview. I'm sorry. That's just how we're going to do it, And then to see my players come over and interact with her and know her name, like you talk about two just worlds colliding of like proud dad and proud coach. So, I think people can think about, like, it does take away from some family time. But like my girls were so they are so brainwashed on red and white, man. So like if we're playing the Minster Wildcats, they're not coloring anything orange and black all week. You know, you might as well take those crayons out of the box. I'm
beginning to think the superstition is genetic.
Yes, probably so. But like they also invest themselves in it. And that to me has been one of the more fascinating things about my family life, is just how much they care too. And I think it's because they see dad, you know, really loving and caring for these young men, and they see them as an extension of our family, you know, like that. So rather than saying what it's cost my family over the last 2 years, I would like to say it's given our family more than I could have ever imagined. You know, so like, for example, last year, we lost to Mercer in a regional semifinal, and that Mercer team was awesome. They were awesome. That Marion team was awesome last year. But my daughter broke her arm, and she had to go in for a procedure that week. So the kids didn't have school on Friday. Okay, the players didn't. When we got home Friday from a post-op visit, I think, there was a care package for my daughter from my team on the porch. Like,
did you tear up? I mean, I was just gonna say.
I even told him, like, listen, I took my hat off in the locker room and I said, listen, this is not your coach talking. This is Maya's dad talking. What you just did, guys, was tremendous. And I'll never have enough things to say. So, you know, like, so yes, it does take away moments from my individual family, but it's given me more moments than you guys could ever even know.
I think that's the specialty of coaching in general, right? In leading, I would say leading, because you know, people can have that same connection in business and everything else. I think leading, you know, you get a lot of those fruits from leading. A lot of days it's a thankless job, right?
Oh yeah,
it's very thankless being a leader, but you do it because you love it, and you do it because you like the teammates or your coworkers. And I think that's crucial. One question I would have for, I'm sure Maya, you're going to listen to this. Does Maya have a favorite player? And can we give a little spoils to the favorite player of Maya?
So obviously she loves Charlie. Yeah. Okay, you know, but Anderson Kramer. So when we ended up beating Marion, she drew this beautiful portrait. And it said, you know, we beat Marion, go Skins, beat Grove. And it said, go Anderson, go Charlie. And it had a 71 and 12 on there. And I sent that to Anderson and Charlie. And Anderson even said, man, I made her wall. That's a big deal. It's like, you betcha it's a big deal, you know? You got a turtle, you got a princess, and Anderson Kramer on there, you know? So, no, like my players, I really do talk to my players about my family too. I don't separate it much. I think they need to know what time I sacrifice too. And then there's a general respect for that. And my guys know that. And I know the time they sacrifice for me too. And I let them know that I appreciate every second they give. Okay, so I think when there's that, just like in business, I think you have to have a mutual respect for one another and what their job may be, or maybe, you know, I don't know. It's just good stuff.
That's special, man. That's I hope people listen and appreciate. I had goosebumps. I showed Bill. I'm like, dude, you're hitting me from a dad angle. Anyone can appreciate that kind of love, because that's what I think took St. Henry the title this year. It's a mutual respect and love. There sounds like love in that locker room, which is really cool. It's a hard culture to start among Mercer County boys, and toughness and grit. You're always supposed to know about football, but that's extremely special. Was it hard to transition back on Monday back to optometrist versus, because you feel like you flick switches and stuff? I mean, I know that you're good at it, but you're coming off of a very high pinnacle. You've reached the Mecca equivalent in state championships. And by the way, if you're tuning into YouTube, the state championship is literally 2 feet to my left. It's beautiful. I'm so worried about, I'm the klutz in this room. No question about that. Bill Ray's nodding his head. I'll be the first to knock that on the ground and break it, and they'll be like, the Two Dads guys broke the damn trophy when he brought it. We'll get it home safely. But was it hard at all to switch back to that? I mean, it's not like something's over. You have another season, but like, was there a weird transition there? It had to be a little awkward of just like, yeah, I'm the guy. All right, anyway. Can you read the bottom line for me real quick? Cover the side. 1 or 2?
Yeah, but
one or two.
I'll tell you, I had a lot of patients reach out and say congratulations and stuff too, just from a relationship in the exam lane, you know. But No, the weird part was not having to wake up at 4, to do practice sheets and all those kind of things. Like, so I don't do any football stuff when my kids are awake. That's a promise. Like I am dad when they are awake. So like my only time to do football stuff is when they go to bed. So like I'm either up till 11 and then up at 4 to get ready. So then by the time they wake up, I'm done and I'm prepped and then I'm cooking breakfast.
That's a huge thing for parents to hear. I know, Bill, you got something to say. I literally just wanted to add. I think that's a key takeaway that dads need to hear. I think putting your work aside and making sure work stays at work.
Yeah.
And with the advancements of cell phones, and like you said, Bill, you got home and Riker was tossing the football and you looked at your phone for a second. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. You're just like, damn, 13 slacks already? You could have easily made a conscientious decision to go look at those slacks. And it's very easy. We all fall into it. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's immune to it. And there's not days you're not super dad, right? Like there's some days like, I got to handle this. But that's a darn good piece of advice.
I couldn't have heard anything better from any coach of any standpoint. I don't know that it's a family member too. You know how hard it is to spend all the time coaching and being a parent and being a husband.
Give. You don't have anything left.
And to make the easy decision to be come home at 6:30 and then start watching film and tell the girls like, hey, sorry, I got a big game this week. I got to watch film, girls. Or hey, girls, you want to come watch this film with me or whatever, right? They probably don't want to. But
I had a question here, Bill. My question was going to be, what are things you wish you could coach more people on, not just kids? I think you accidentally knocked it out of the park there. If you could coach them on something, it's be in the present, live in the now, keep work at work.
Yeah, so not to cut you off, Bill, at all. So John Werling, that's Charlie's dad. John and I are very close. John's like an older brother, okay? So we bought his house when they built a new one. So Charlie's childhood home, that's what we live in now. John played for the same college football coach I did. He was the first person I called when we were finding out we were expecting Maya. Okay, so the first word of advice he ever gave me is, you're not going to know what to do. You're going to have no clue, but just be present. Just be present, and you will figure it out as you go. But what your kids are going to remember is dad was there, right? And that has stuck with me forever. That was the first words of wisdom I had gotten from John on being a father, and I think that's really about 98% of it.
Yeah, and I think, we had Riker's play musical thing yesterday, right? And I'm going to be the first dad out there to be saying, like, I wasn't overly excited to go to this 15, 20 minute musical
people
thing. Right?
Here. Yeah,
understood.
We don't have to fake it.
Yeah,
so
understood.
At Coldwater in the auditorium, it's like this big U, and we were sitting all the way on the right side. There was open seats. We grabbed them. Well, then Riker's kind of blocked in the view where he ended up being on stage. And he knew where we were sitting, right? And then I was like, let's move to the back and just stand so we can actually watch him and interact. Well, he looks to his left, sees 3 empty seats. Me, Haley, and his grandpa weren't sitting there anymore. And then you just see his eyes scanning the crowd like, where are these guys at? And like, I don't really care what people think, but they were getting ready to sing. And I'm just in the back, like, raise my hand so he sees me. Yeah. And then just beam of joy. And just like, so just being there for him, like, and I'm not going to say the kid's going to be in musicals later. Like, I don't know, but it was just a really cool thing, like just being there for the events and being there and present. And I think, Josh, like, you couldn't have put it any better. And it's probably one of the best things I've heard on the entire podcast.
I'm right there with you. I think just what you said, Bill. I think Izzy's first Christmas play, and she was scanning the room. She just got up there. They march them in.
Sure.
They stand at the thing, and then all of a sudden you see them all start scanning. I found her. And I remember one time, same thing, just in the corner. I was standing in the back, and I just watched her eyes go back and forth. And I could see her just a little bit like hesitation. And then when we locked, and I just gave her a little peace sign. Tasha, my fiance, is half Korean, so they do this little Korean heart thing. Like, it's like you'll see it in your app if you're looking on YouTube. I'm doing it up to the camera, but I gave her one of those, and dude, instantly I knew what it meant to be a dad.
Yeah,
it's just the presence of mind, the presence of body, the presence of that consistency. They say, I heard this great quote that the ocean is their mom. The waves, they're always going, and kids are like the beach where they're thrashing and stuff, and the beauty of the ocean's always out there. But when the beach and the ocean hit each other, it makes waves and crashes and cracks. But dads are like the seawall. Both mom and the kids are always cracking on that seawall, and the beauty of being a dad is that you're just constantly there. You're just presence. You're always the seawall. And that's what they look to later. That's what makes a strong woman. So I thought that was a really cool analogy that I had heard. And I turned this a little bit more philosophical as we wind this back down toward the end of the podcast. I ask you, 10 years from now, when people talk about this era, the way they talked about the 2006 era you were a part of, and this chapter of your life, what do you hope they say about how you showed up as a coach, a doctor, and a dad?
I genuinely hope people know that I poured everything I had into it, and I did it my way, and I think my players will always know that. I hope they do, but I hope people a couple things. One, that they know that I gave everything I had, and two, that they were always proud of the team they watched, even if they weren't talented. Let's say we have a down year of talent, right? But if our kids play their butts off, like hard as heck, right? This type of all gas, no brakes, roll the ball out there. That's my kind of competitor. And I hope people can always think back on my past teams and future teams and know, like, when you play them, they're going to compete. And if that is what they say, then I can lay my head on the pillow easy and know that that's exactly what I was hoping to bring to St. Henry.
I think for the sports guys out there, it's hard to beat a team that doesn't quit.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get high school kids not to quit. Like, not quit the team, but quit the game, right? We're down 14. There's 5 minutes to go. Like, don't give up. Like, let's get a touchdown. Let's get a stop. Let's get a chance to tie it up. So I had one of our loyal listeners that has a question for you on a philosophical game.
Okay.
4th and 1.
Yep.
State championship game.
Yep.
You're down 3, and you have a great kicker. I don't know how good your kicker is or not. You can shout him out if he's good. But it is still high school football.
Yeah.
Field goals aren't always a given. You guys blocked a punt, right?
Okay.
4th and 1, down 3, 1 second on the clock, stop clock. Are you kicking the field goal?
Where's the ball?
It's on the 1.
It's on the 1.
You can pick a hash. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I know Charlie's on the team, so I know what you're calling.
Yeah, we're going for it.
You going for it?
Yeah.
He literally asked. He's like, I told him, I said,
yeah. My kids, because you bring that to your kids, and there ain't one of them that's going to doubt you for saying kick it. Yeah. Or they would doubt you for saying kick. They say, Coach, let's go get this thing. Because that is what I would want out of my football team, is I would want them to be competitive enough to look past all that and say, we have the ball. We've got 1 yard to go. All right, let's go get that yard. And what our mantra was in one of our formations this year was, let's go finish in the paint. And that's what they would say to me. So as a football coach and as a leader, I don't think I'd be able. In high school, you have a snap, you got to hold, you got to kick the thing. That's 3 components, right? When you cut 1 second at the 1 yard line, 4th and goal, we're going for it. And we did. We did versus Marion the first time. They stopped us. They stopped us. But I still wouldn't change that call. Good teams make good plays sometimes. But that series event might have lost us that football game. But I still think we made the right decision in going for it.
Love it.
Speaking of going for it in the paint,
yeah,
we got one final game show for you, Coach.
Let's go.
Bill Ray, you can play this one too. It's just going to be a quick little thing. Look, we're going to be donating regardless. This doesn't have right or wrong answers. This is just a little fun one I put together for you, Coach. A sort of West Coast offense to end this fun interview.
Here we go.
We're going to be donating to the Neurological Center in Burkittsville. You had mentioned that's an important cause to you, so we're going to find a generous donation that way, $50 probably, just to send it there, just for you being here and saying thank you very much. I hope it helps them.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, very, very much. So, all right, Coach. We're finishing with a game we're calling Exam Room or Locker Room. I'm going to read you a line. You tell me if it's something you say more as Dr. Werling in the exam room or Coach Werling in the locker room, or honestly both. You can say both. Bill Ray.
I'm not going to play this one. I'm going to let Coach be Coach.
Let's let Coach be Coach. Okay, you can explain yourself, and we'll probably make fun of you either way. No big deal. Okay. But I ask that you give me a rapid-fire answer. Whatever comes to your mind first, okay?
Sounds good.
So are you interested in playing? I have to ask.
Yeah, let's play it.
Okay.
Let's go.
I have to ask you if you're interested in playing. Okay.
I'm ready.
Bill, you got our lawyers on the line. Everything's good?
Yeah, it's checked out.
Yeah, okay, everything's good on the lawyers. All right, here we go. You're going to feel a little pressure. Are you saying that more as Dr. Werling or Coach Werling?
Husband Werling.
Here we go. Number 2. Tell me if number 1 looks better or number 2.
That's a Dr. Werling.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't follow instructions, this is going to hurt a lot more than it has to. Dr. Werling or Coach Werling?
Probably Coach Werling.
You've got to keep your eyes up and trust what you're seeing. Coach Werling or Dr. Werling?
That's Coach Werling. Yeah.
We're going to make a small adjustment and see if that clears things up.
That's a Dr. Werling. Yeah, that's a Dr. Werling there.
I can't do this part for you. You've got to commit.
That's going to be Coach. Let's go Coach there.
You might not love how this feels right now, but you'll thank me later.
That's Coach.
That's 2-a-days, Coach.
That's 2-a-days, Coach.
We're
exactly.
not leaving until the vision is where it needs to be.
That's Dr. Werling.
That's Dr. Werling, folks, and Coach Werling as well. Thank you for being on the Two Dads Podcast, episode 44. Before we go, Slick Willie, anything you got to say?
No, congratulations to Coach Werling, the St. Henry Redskins, all the players, the community. I know what happens when teams win these things and how much it means to everybody. So, Hail Victors, is that what it is?
Hail victory, baby.
Hail Victory.
Hail victory, baby, and we'll see you next week on the Two Dads Podcast. Josh, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was tremendous. Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week.